My very first doula client actually wound up being one of the most traumatic stories of my entire 22-year career. I was reminded about the story today by Badass Mother Birther because she was showing a mom who was clearly like maybe twerking or something while she was in labor. And the title said, I guarantee you that her doctor didn't tell her about the risk of cord prolapse when you rupture your membranes artificially, meaning like the doctor will do it. And the reason she said that was because this mom was twerking and everything. And then apparently shortly thereafter, the doctor said, let's break your water. And she wound up having to have emergency C-section because of the prolapse, the cord prolapsed. So my first client was a rough start to my career. She was being induced because the doctor said the baby was big. So I didn't yet know that that was pretty standard practice at this point, that everybody was saying big baby and let's do an induction. But so I was a baby doula. I didn't know. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Here we go. So we check in early in the morning. They're going to get her started on Pitocin. She goes several hours. The doctor comes around lunchtime and says, yeah, you're just not really progressing that well. You're just at 3 centimeters. And actually she said, the baby's head is really high. But at no point did this provider say that there's a risk of cord prolapse, or any risks at all. Never went over any of the risks. So doctor goes in, breaks the water. Within 2 minutes, absolute chaos. I mean, people are yelling, alarms are going off. The doctor is on the bed with her entire arm up inside my client, holding the baby's head off of the cord. And they're pulling cords out of the wall, and they're literally whisking her down the hall while her husband and I are standing there with like saucers because what the fuck just happened? So if you don't know what a cord prolapse is, I'm sure that's obvious, but just in case, it's when the umbilical cord comes down before the baby. And this is common not common, it's rare. It rarely happens, but it does happen. It's common when you have more fluid, especially. But what happens is basically when the water releases, and especially it's much higher risk when you do it artificially, when, water is not breaking on its own. Anyways, and so then when the baby's head would normally just come down into the pelvis, but sometimes the water will pull the cord down and then the head, which then the head now is putting pressure on the cord, which means baby is not getting any oxygen or blood flow. The reason I share this is because, to be clear, this provider never gave them any risk. And as a doula for 22 years, I see this over and over and over and over and over again. You're not being given all of the information so that you can make an educated decision. If she knew that there was a risk of prolapsed cord that could potentially be mean an emergency C-section, or just rupturing the membranes artificially increases your risk for infection. But she never gave her these options to decide. She just said, this is what we should be doing. And clearly she was wrong. But more importantly, that family didn't get to decide. And these are the things that we go over in Birthify, right? Birthify is this platform that helps you understand the risks, benefits, and alternatives of anything that could happen during your labor and then on to your postpartum period. We help with breastfeeding and newborn care and newborn sleep. So check it out, birthify.net. We actually have a special going on right now for just $10 a week for our introductory offer. So it's normally $60 a week. $10 a week, y'all, for an expert. It's like literally a doula in your hand. Do it. Check it out.